Kind of, for people that don't know, the easiest way that I can explain it is, it's just like an infrared camera sees what you can't see, an accelerometer for vibration analysis feels what you can't feel. Well, we hear what you can't hear. So we're an extension of one of your senses to where we can go out and gather information to make a good diagnosis on what the health of that asset is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Dynaway Dialogues. I'm your host, Jesse Zadanek, and I'm very pleased today to have Adrian Messer. Adrian is involved in maintenance reliability. He's been working in that field since 2003, and he is in his role as U.S. Operations Manager for SDT Ultrasound Solutions. He's been implementing and advising companies, technology, and companies interested in reliability and reliability management for quite a long time. I noticed on your bio, Adrian, that you graduated from Clemson. I graduated from Clemson, so yeah, go Tigers! I'm excited to talk to you today. Tell us a little bit about really about your background and how you got into the field.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate the introduction, and it's good to be here with you today. Yeah, I wish I had a storied tale to tell about how I got into this industry, but as you said, I did graduate from Clemson in 2001. And I started in the maintenance reliability field in 2003. So really just shortly after graduating Clemson. And usually when I tell people that I went to Clemson, they say, "Oh, mechanical or electrical?"
Yeah.
Neither. I'm not an engineer. I majored in business of all things. But the beauty of being in the industry is so many people are, willing to share their knowledge. So everything that I know about maintenance reliability and asset management, I've learned just by reading, studying on my own, but mostly just talking to people out in the plants and factories and the people that I serve in my role. So yeah, that's kind of how I just kind of fell into the industry, but I couldn't imagine doing anything different. Sometimes I tell people that I live the TV show How It's Made. I get to go in to see a lot of cool things. I was just this week in Golden, Colorado, and I had the opportunity to go into a mine. So I've been to a lot of mines, but first time I'd ever been down into a mine. So that was really cool. But yeah, just really enjoy what I do. Couldn't imagine doing anything different, and really excited to be a part of the conference coming up next year.
Wow. That's fascinating because I kind of have the opposite relationship. I graduated in engineering at Clemson and really have never worked in engineering. I've been in technology and other business related areas ever since. So we kind of cross paths there. And also, my role is often sort of like yours, that I get to see some really cool manufacturing processes and what companies are doing. I've been in some mines
Yeah.
and some manufacturing facilities. That just will blow your mind. So it's a cool, very cool job to have, that you get to sample a little bit about the fascinating world of technology and manufacturing and energy, natural resources that are out there. So glad
That's
to
right.
have you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Adrian, I know you work a lot in the reliability space. Tell us a little bit about how companies you've worked with, how that's affected them, and how the types of situations that they come to you with that you're able to help.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've always felt that it's important to be a resource for people. A lot of the people that we deal with when they contact us here at SDT Ultrasound, they've had something happen, something failed, something broke,
Right.
and now they're looking for solutions on ways to hopefully avoid that from happening in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt that it's important to be viewed as a resource. And as far as communication goes, there's equal parts to communication where really you need to be as much of a listener as you are a talker. So
Yeah,
I like listening to people's problems, hearing about their challenges, and then just hopefully be a resource that they can come to, hey, if I don't even know, or if we don't have a solution that we can help with their problem, I want to be able to point somebody in the right direction. So really just always tried to be viewed as a resource. Now, granted, a lot of what I do, there is some sales involved, but
right.
it's a huge turnoff in the industry if someone goes in and they're viewed as just a stereotypical
Yeah,
salesperson.
yeah, for sure.
Again, people are looking for solutions. They've got problems. They're trying to avoid unplanned downtime, which is, ultimately why we're implementing these reliability strategies that we implement, is hopefully to improve our processes and, again, avoid those failures that seem to always happen on Friday afternoons or over the weekends. So
Yeah,
it's just really about being viewed as a resource, and just listening to people talk about their problems. And like I said, being a solution, somebody they can come to that they can trust.
sure, sure. I know what you mean about companies coming to you when there's usually some sort of event or downtime issue.
Yeah.
We have a customer actually. They make they call it energetic materials. They actually make flares that come out of the back of F-18s
Oh,
to
wow.
avoid missiles.
Yeah.
Energetic materials. But they had an accident in their UK plant where there was actually an explosion. They were shut down for a year
Goodness.
by the British government to uh, you know prove their safety features and were sufficient to restart the plant. So that's an example of a situation you would never think would happen, but is out there in the world today, and you have to really plan for those types of things. So I can totally appreciate that customers are leaning on you to give them advice and make them a more efficient, more safety focused kind of company. So
Yeah, and that's a whole other aspect. I talked about unplanned downtime, but another
yeah,
aspect is, hey, you don't want to be making news in a bad way. So there's,
exactly,
some
exactly.
companies like that example. Yeah, you don't want to be making news in a bad way.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about ultrasound technology. Obviously, this is watched by a variety of different people. Tell us what it is, um, how it can affect a company. What are the benefits? We'd love to learn a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. So we are a condition monitoring company. So
Hmm.
I kind of, for people that don't know, the easiest way that I can explain it is, it's just like an infrared camera sees what you can't see. An accelerometer for vibration analysis feels what you can't feel. Well, we hear what you can't hear. So we're an extension of one of your senses, to where we can go out and gather information to make a good diagnosis on what the health of that asset is. So similar to the way that you go in, to your doctor, your doctor doesn't just rely solely on one test to make a diagnosis on what your
Right.
condition is.
Yeah.
They're taking temperature, they're listening, they're feeling, maybe even drawing blood in some cases, looking
Hmm.
for um, problems that may be occurring in your body. So we kind of take the same approach when it comes to condition-based maintenance. So again, we're another piece of information that people can use to go out and gather to make a good diagnosis on what the health of their asset is.
Mm.
So, ultrasound technology has actually been around for almost 60 years. So, it's a technology that's been around for a long time. It has roots going back to the military,
Mm.
like a lot of our things that we use on a daily basis. So became commercially available in the early 70s, and SDT next year will celebrate 50 years. So we've been a big part of the ultrasonic industry over that 60-year period. So
Hmm.
we have, again, we're listening for problems that you can't normally hear in a normal plant factory kind of environment.
Yeah.
So typical applications are compressed air leak detection,
Okay.
compressed gas leaks, vacuum leaks. We've had a lot of conversations recently about electrical inspection. We can go out and listen for electrical faults like corona, tracking, arcing. So that's becoming a big topic of conversation due to
Hmm.
some recent NFPA advancements and updates to some of their guidelines for electrical preventive maintenance. And then bearing condition monitoring, bearing lubrication. So if we're trending the decibel level of a bearing, again, we're just listening for slight changes in noise, even
Yeah.
before there's any movement. If we're trending the decibel level becomes a really good leading indicator of a potential problem with that bearing or that gearbox.
Mhm.
So yeah, lots of applications. So for companies that are already doing infrared thermography on electrical assets, it's a good complement to that. And then it's also very complementary to vibration analysis on the mechanical side.
Okay. Are there any industries that are more prevalent than others?
Yeah, basically anybody that has any kind of electrical, mechanical, pneumatic, steam
Mhm.
infrastructure, they can make use of our equipment. So, for whatever reason, we have been doing a lot in pharmaceutical this year.
Okay.
We're seeing industries like that traditionally have been kind of more run to failure. They're
Mhm.
realizing now that if they have equipment failures and unplanned downtime, that can potentially affect the batch of drugs or whatever it is that they're making.
Yeah.
And that could be millions of dollars in wasted product if they have those types of unexpected failures. So,
Mhm.
um, pulp and paper, I mentioned mining, food and beverage. Again, anybody that has any of those types of infrastructures in their plants and factories, they can use ultrasound technology.
Gotcha. Is it usually used, like you said, as a complement, or are there applications that are, it's sufficient for a company's kind of monitoring?
Yeah, I mean, it varies depending on, company size,
Yeah.
industry type. There's some places that we go, you may have one PDM tech who's doing the infrared, doing the vibration, doing the ultrasound. And then some larger facilities, they may have one person dedicated to vibration, one to thermography, one to ultrasound. So it
Mhm.
kind of varies depending on industry type and size. But
Right.
the beauty of ultrasound is it's easy enough to where you can put it in the hands of a mechanic or a technician or a PDM technician, and with just some basic training and familiarization with the instrument and how to use it, they can effectively go out to then to start to deploy the technology within their plant. So
Mhm.
it's very versatile, and then it's also very easy to use compared to some of the other predictive technologies.
Gotcha. And do you work primarily in North America, or how widespread is your application used?
Yeah, so we are a global company. So the
Okay.
product is actually made in Belgium, and then
Okay.
we bring it in currently through our North American office, which is in Cobourg, Ontario, Canada. But as of April of this year, we actually moved into about an 8,000 square foot warehouse here in Anderson, South Carolina. So we are starting now to basically anything that happens in the U.S. Is done here out of Anderson as opposed to Canada. So, but we are a global organization. So
Mhm.
basically, wherever you are in the world, we would have somebody that could support you.
Gotcha. That's fantastic. So if I'm a company out there and I'm curious about about ultrasound solution, how do I know um, what the right application is? How do I get involved? What's the best route to determine if this is for me?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, I have those types of conversations almost on a weekly basis. So again,
Okay.
we have people contact us, and they'll have a particular application, whether it be mechanical in nature. Sometimes we
Hmm.
get involved with like quality control checks to where maybe
Yeah.
we're looking for wind noise water leak issues on vehicles or
Mm.
aircraft or marine applications to where we're looking for sources of potential water intrusion around hatches or containers. So
Okay.
yeah, we welcome those types of conversations because I mentioned, ultrasound technology has been around for decades, but it's
Hmm.
still amazing to me at how many people just simply aren't aware of all
Yeah.
the applications that it can be used for. Because for years, ultrasound was considered a leak detector, and that
Mm.
is by far the most widely used application for the devices,
Hmm.
just simply because it's the easiest thing you can do.
Hmm.
And then it's also the application that can have the quickest ROI. So typically, first time in use, you can go into just about any plant or facility and you can find and then document enough compressed air leak losses to more than pay for the investment in the tool. Uh,
Wow.
the beauty is the same tool that you use for leak detection is the same tool that can be used for all these other applications that we've talked about.
Okay. So then you're just stacking ROI on top of ROI. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
wonderful.
all gravy after that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Um, are there, any, I guess you were talking about it, but a myth or a misconception out there would be that it's just for leak detection. You can use it for many different types of applications, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Okay. All right. Super. So what advice would you give the companies on how to get started? Do they just contact you through the website, or is there personal investigation they can do to find if the application would be right for them, or if ultrasound is right for them? How do they go about thinking about this?
Sure. Well, I'm on LinkedIn, so I welcome anybody listening to look me up on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I'm on there every day, so I welcome connections and discussions there. Obviously, the conference taking place in Greenville, South Carolina. Would love
Right.
to have you attend the conference. So I'm honored to be speaking there along with a lot of other industry professionals. So it's shaping up to be a really great event. So would certainly welcome the opportunity to meet face to face there.
Yeah.
But then also, like I said earlier, one of the fun things about what I do is I enjoy the face to face interactions in the plants. So
Yeah.
there's nothing like being there in the plant, observing, again, taking a look at, what their problems are and then coming up with solutions on how to help. So,
Right.
yeah, certainly welcome, the interactions, whether it be virtual, through LinkedIn or
Yeah.
in the plant.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, let's take a little time trip here. What kind of trends do you see in the industry? Where do you see this technology in 5 years or 10 years, or what is coming down the pike in your technology sector?
Yeah, so, just observations. I talked about how long ultrasound has been around, but
Hmm.
really, over the last, I would say 20 years has really become widely used for other applications like mechanical and electrical, compared to, vibration analysis, which has just dominated the mechanical inspection world, with bearings and rotating equipment.
Yeah.
Same with infrared thermography on the electrical side of things. So I think the potential is there for ultrasound to continue to grow and have an amazing impact on all the latest trends in the industry as far as AI and
Hmm.
sensors and machine learning.
Right.
The ultrasound data can, again, we're just a piece of data. So when we talk
Hmm.
about AI and machine learning, again, it becomes just a piece of data at that point. But there are lots of applications out there, and we have sensors that can be used in those types of applications. So if I mention, we've got a condition monitoring sensor that has a 4 to 20 milliamp output or a 0 to 10. Typically, with that type of signal, you can send that data out into almost an unlimited number of platforms. So if
Okay.
you are listening and you have those types of applications or needs for data, ultrasound can certainly become a part of that data used for those newer types of technologies and sensors and software platforms in the industry. But again, the ultrasound is continuing to become one of the technologies that people are deploying for
Hmm.
multiple applications. Um, but then I guess as far as another trend, I mentioned the software. So we have all this data. So now what do we do with all that data? So I think the software component and how we use that data and what that data can tell us, I think that's going to be. I don't see that trend ending anytime soon.
Right. Right. Yeah. We do live in the world of big data now, so that's going to
Yeah.
continue for sure. All right. Well, let's transition. You already mentioned the Connect conference that you are attending, obviously in April next year. We're
Mhm.
excited to have you. Give us a sneak peek. What are you going to talk about at Connect?
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about culture and leadership and how important that is to these reliability initiatives that are
Hmm.
deployed and initiated in our plants and factories. And, over the years, I have seen that, a lot of things in our industry are cyclical. They're
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
down, but they always seem to come back around. It's very hard to well, I should say it's hard for a lot of companies to sustain a change initiative.
Mm.
So I'm going to kind of touch on, just some of my observations and things that I've seen and little nuggets of information that I've picked up from other people over the years, and
Mhm.
really just want to share that and hopefully just spark an idea or someone will attend that. And a lot of times these initiatives start with just one person. One
Mhm.
person stands up and says, hey, we can't keep operating this way, or we can't keep running our reliability program this way. So
Right.
hopefully, really just want to spark an idea or, excite someone that they can go back to their plant and facility and
Hmm.
hopefully give them some good ideas on how they can initiate and implement a reliability change within their facility.
Gotcha. Well, we're excited about hearing about that, so looking forward to it. Just in general, though, I'm sure you've attended a lot of conferences, as have I. What do you hear in the ecosystem out there? Are how how can that impact the company? Are these good things? Why should people attend these types of conferences? Have you found them to be generally useful for customers, or a waste of time? You know.
Yeah, in general, I would say useful.
Uh huh.
Again, a lot of times these types of changes start with just one person. So,
Yeah.
if someone attends the conference, again, really hope that they can go back and implement some of these things because,
Hmm.
knowledge without any action, is it really knowledge? Is it really valuable? So it's
Right.
great to go to these conferences and you
Yeah.
hear all these great things and you see all these shiny new sensors and tools.
Right. Right.
If you don't go back to your plan and you continue to get in that rut and you don't do
Hmm.
anything, that's where the struggle is.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's what I'm hoping is that someone will go back from the conference and actually implement some of these strategies and concepts that they will hear about and learn about.
Yeah. We're real excited. Um, well, Adrian, I think that about wraps it up. It's been great talking to you. I want to thank everyone out there on the podcast airwaves for joining today. Please like, subscribe, whatever platform you're listening on. Give us a good comment. We'd love to hear from you. Um, Thank you for joining us, and thanks for joining, Adrian. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, bye bye.